Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So as usual, I ask you to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. We're getting ready to start the summer semester, and I thought this would be a perfect time for me to reflect on this past semester and to redefine some goals of mine for the coming semester. I'm recording this in just before Memorial Day of 2024. I came to realize that one big weakness I made over the last year was that I let too many people know too much about myself. And these people, you know, Maricopa colleges are a nice place to work at, but at the same time, everybody is self-interested, right? And every bit of information, you know, I wouldn't say in the wrong hands, but in a strategic hand, can work against you, right? That's what I've come to realize. I was thinking about several events that I had to go to at the college, and I have food allergies, so I have to be on alert at these things, and also some anxiety issues. Sometimes I walk away if things get too heightened, and you know, I apologize to the people involved and all that, and it happens when it happens, right? And I've walked away from my share of events, and I was thinking about how best to handle that in the future. I remember years ago I worked with it might have been a colleague or a student, see, I don't know who it was, this is interesting, who also had disabilities. Now what had happened was, some of the classes, I was teaching at a different school in Seattle, Washington, some of the classes had somebody involved. They just put an asterisk next to it, and when I read the rest of the information, it said that one of the occupants had a severe sensitivity to citrus odors, to please not use citrus fragrances or peel any citrus fruit in the classroom, something like that. Now, the beautiful thing is it didn't identify the person, not that I want to know or anything, and what's really annoying is that sometimes here or anywhere, when I bring up my food allergies, there's a lot of personal attacks, not physical attacks where somebody throws something that might make you sick in your face. No, I haven't run into that. What I much more run into is people who think they have a medical degree from Google and tell me what to do about my allergies, or people who think I'm weak, or name calling, and the guy who can't touch any food, or some things like that. So I'm going to have to think hard about how to handle this. I think I used to think this guy or girl or whoever it was, I don't even know if it was a student or a professor, why would he go to HR? You know, they could probably just talk it out with these people. I'm sure nobody would bring citrus, but I now understand the wisdom of it. This was 5 years ago. I was more naive back then. So I'll have to think about it. Maybe this is something that I could talk to HR about instead of just one-on-one going about. Now you might say, well, food is everywhere, you know, citrus you could avoid. Well, the thing is, I never really need anybody to avoid bringing food, right? Let's say we were to have a meeting at the student union at that desk. I would be perfectly fine sitting next to somebody eating all sorts of offensive food. What I have a problem with is when people dust their hands everywhere. I wish there was a name for that kind of motion. Please don't blah, right? Because every time I explain to people, you know, when you're done eating, could you please wash your hands? You know, please don't get your crumbs everywhere. People draw a blank sometimes, and there's just not a whole lot of awareness. You know, you can only imagine these people are putting their hands on food that might make somebody react. Right? Imagine they were working with, I don't know, asbestos or lead paint or polonium-210, right? Can you imagine if people worked with that kind of attitude with any of those things, right? There's a certain disconnect right there, right? I'm sure these people have family members who are even more deathly allergic than I am, right? And still the disconnect for some reason. But I'll have to think about how to bring this up to avoid all these personal attacks that I run into, because even though I'm used to personal attacks, right? I can absorb them. The problem is when they happen at a professional setting that I have to then work around, right? That's when I really have a problem. If somebody just wants to, if a stranger on the street just wants to give me a personal attack, or you know, or somebody leaves a comment on here and gives a personal attack, I can laugh at it about it, right? But when it starts to intersect with my livelihood, I have a big problem with that. So I'm going to have to think hard about how to go about that. I did talk to, I didn't talk to HR yet, but one day at the student union, one of the students was making a mess out of the microwave and getting their food everywhere, and I did talk to one of the directors of the student union. I'm very pleased that I did, and the reception I got was pretty good about that. And so they, now that I've brought it up, she actually put up a sign on here, and so that's good. See, my name's not on there. I don't have to be involved in that, and so that was good. So that's something that I need to work on. The other part of not letting people know too much about me is that sometimes my students get to know way too much about me. And they use, I wouldn't say use, but they, you know, people are self-interested. They might not think they're using you, but I can do this because of that, right? So I really love showing off my art, but sometimes people see that I have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of metal, and they just think that I'm well off and they can walk all over me. And so, you know, this is college, right? A lot of people have this idea of social justice and all that, or they hear that I'm single and I don't have a life outside of the workplace, so they want to reschedule their final exams at all hours of the week, and so I gotta be careful. I really love having rapport with the students, showing them my art, letting them know that, you know, I enjoy my romantic life with myself. I normally don't bring it up like that, but if we talk about what we did over the weekend, you know, but I gotta think about how to be able to share that without giving them too much ammunition to walk on, right? That's gonna be something that I work on over the summer. One thing that I really loved this past week was, and this is kind of unfair in life, and now that I'm on the positive side of the unfairness, I still don't like it. So, you guys who have been watching my videos know that about a month ago I reconnected with an old friend, and I'm feeling a whole huge boost of confidence there, and it's allowing me to be able to negotiate a lot more stuff. So last night I was at another upsetting situation. I was able to speak up for myself because I wasn't afraid to lose, right? I had this other friend that I'm communicating with anyway. And it just goes to show that we live in a world where the people who have a lot more leverage to acquire more, right? Whether it be money, friends, good health, romance, it just doesn't feel fair that the more of any of those things that you have, the more leverage you have to negotiate for more of those things, right? That's something that I want to work on, right? How do we create a substrate where, yes, I understand people want to acquire more, but have a little bit more catch-up mechanism, right? That's something that I want to. I think if I figure that out, that's worthy of a Nobel Prize, probably, right? All right, please continue to pray for me by disliking this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.